Hello, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 8. I think this week I'm going to title the episode It's a Rainbow, because I like the Rolling Stones. Because, well, I'm excited about rainbows. Let's just leave it at that. So, I'm glad that you guys could join me this week. I had a decent time going back home, and, under the circumstances, since I ended up flying back to take my qualifying exams, So, flew in Friday, got back to the house at about 2 a.m., and then spent the weekend studying and trying to kick myself onto Eastern time again, and got to see some friends. What else did? Got to see some friends. One of my good friends had a baby in July, so I went by and dropped off a hat and got to see her, and she's also in the stage of finishing up her PhD and then getting a job, so we were talking about job interview stuff and stuff like that. So exciting times for sure. And I got to see my friend Jen, who seems to be a character in the podcast, because I mention her here and I also mention her on Joy and Smiles because she's a friend of Jody and mine. So she wanted to make sure that I was still enjoying spinning and all that other fun stuff. So yeah, so it was a pretty good trip, considering I also had to spend 4 hours taking a dreadful, horrible test. And I'll end up finding out in a couple of weeks. Like, people are asking me how it went and stuff like that. I'm like, it happened. I tried to get enough points. One thing about my department is that I don't think that they want you to ever feel good about the grades that you get. So you'll take a test and you'll get a C on it, but that is actually towards the top of the pile. So that C was really an A, which always confused me, because from where I did my undergrad, generally if you knew what was going on and you had your material down pat, you could get an A on a test, like a legitimate A. As opposed to this, crap, I don't know all of the things they're asking me about. So, oh well, whatever. We shall see. There will probably be big ramifications for the results of it, but for now it's out of my hands. I took it. I did my job. So, to hop into the knitting, what I'm working on right now is my Ashton Windows socks. And these haven't gotten a super duper lot of work done on them. I haven't really felt like knitting socks. Shocker, I know. So these have been going slowly. Since it's been 2 weeks since I've podcasted, it is, today is Friday, August 17th? Oh my goodness. Let me go look in the date on the computer. It is the 16th. It is the 16th of August. Normally I pay closer attention to the dates, but so since it's been 2 weeks, I have gotten a decent chunk of progress done. So I might as well stop. Okay. So what I was doing, and my super classy paperclip cable needle. I really like the paper clips. I don't know why. So what I've been doing with this sock is I've been decreasing the lace part of the pattern, but keeping the cable. And then I have it wrapping around the foot. So then I stop doing the cable here, and then I'm wrapping around and around the heel turn. And so now I'm to the point where I have a cable, and then I have my one remaining pattern repeat. Because I really like the little cable with the stripy yarn. I'm done with the gusset decreases. So I did decide to do a flap, as you can tell. And my color sequence was actually still somewhat maintained. There's just a portion there where there's only one row of orange. And looking at it, it's not a big deal. The stripes on this, on the Vesper, so this is Vesper, Knitterly Things Vesper, in the Sweetwater colorway. And I'm knitting it on zeros, and I have 72-ish stitches. Well, it's 72. I don't know what gauge I'm getting. Whatever. The 6 stitches more was definitely too much, so, or 12 or 6 was too much, so this ends up working out. And so it's been enjoyable to knit. I've been obsessed with other things. And this is still the first sock as well. So it's coming together. It is probably a case where I'll end up working on it more once my shawl is closer to completion. Oh yes, the shawl. Another problem that I've been having is, so I do have a double point needle keeper, but my zeros are 6-inch, and my double point needle keeper is for 7-inch double points. So I was thinking about grabbing it when I was back home, and then it was like, wait a second. I can't even fix my problem though, so why am I bothering? So, coming together, Ashton Windows by Karen Martin Kepner, with serious modifications. Alright, that's good. So, to launch right into what has received most of the knitting time in the past 2 weeks, this is the Daybreak shawl, which I've been calling my Rainbow Daybreak. And I ended up putting on another cable so that I could stretch this out, because it is, at this point, fairly large. So, in terms of length, so in terms of length, it's maybe has about a 4-foot wingspan at this point. No, sorry. I'm looking at the viewfinder and being like, oh, this doesn't fit. And then laying it flat on the floor, it's definitely going to have more of a crescent shape just because of what I ended up doing with the increases. So I have rows that have 12 increases in them, and then the rest of the rows only have 2. But it's so pretty. So, okay, Daybreak, Stephen West. I'm knitting it on size 2 on my Xiaogus, my Xiaogu interchangeable set. What's interesting is that the rainbow actually, like, depending on the light, I'm pretty sure that this dark color right here is really black and not purple. But then your eye sort of fakes it and pretends it's purple, so it's okay. And I've been enjoying knitting on this. This got most of the plain knitting. It got most of it sitting around in the airport knitting. And it's been my carry-around project because of my double points falling out all of the time issues. So that this one is much more self-contained. I just keep the balls in my Tom Bin bag. So that this is a bag that came with my knitting bag. And I hadn't been using it much recently, but it's sort of nice to have a way to contain the balls of yarn. And what I found was that I can take the tray table and I can hook the little tray table twisting bob, the clasp on the tray table, and I can hook my bag up so it's just hanging there while I'm sitting on the seat in the plane, which is really nice. Because it's 2 balls of yarn, it's a little bit awkward. So normally what I'll do is I'll pull out the color I'm working on at the time, and this is the Shopple Wool lace ball. And as you can tell, I'm now heading. It's a mirrored rainbow, so I made it to the dark color, and now I'm going back into the blue, green, yellow, stuff like that. So exciting. And then this is my Malabrigo lace. Yeah, lace. So soft. Oh my gosh. I am really, really enjoying knitting with this. I guess since I've been working with wool myself for so long, you sort of forget how much softer singles are than multi-plied yarns. So definitely a lovely change of pace. So it's definitely coming together. The plan, so okay, so I took it out and I measured the center spine to try to get a sense for how much further I was going to have to go. So this here, and this is whatever the halfway point, this here is right now 14 inches. And I believe the pattern calls for at least 20. So instead of going off of, So instead of going off of the number of rows, because at this point, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 rows right now, or 19 stripe rows, or repeats of the stripy row. So I think the plan is to go ahead and do another rainbow and then have red, and then you end up switching, or you end up getting rid of the blue and then doing a stockinette and gartery sort of edging. And then I probably make that as long as a rainbow, as long as a rainbow repeat as well. So I'll probably get 3 rainbow repeats in this shawl, which is exciting. Oh no, I'm really enjoying it a lot. So socks have fallen to the wayside. It's not very exciting knitting. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, it's more like knit across, roll back, knit across, and it just goes on and on and on. So it's probably taking me like 15 minutes a row if all I am doing is knitting. So if we're gonna run, that is what it is. So come together. All right, so that wraps up knitting works in progress. I have also been spinning. So I ended up setting the alarm early today because I realized I had been spending a lot of my Fridays for the most part sleeping in. And while it is lovely to catch up and sleep, I decided, okay, I'm going to go to bed at a normal time. I'm going to wake up a little bit later than normal, and then I'm going to drink coffee and spin, which is what I did this morning. I actually had to go to the grocery store and get sugar because I did not have enough sugar to make another cup of coffee to drink while podcasting. So I'm still working on the Gnomespun. So I got I don't even know how much I spent this morning. It was probably a decent 2 hours of spinning. And then I stopped in disgust at some point because my drop spindle dropped. So it's coming together. I feel like I'm spinning thicker than what I was, or what I was doing on my last set of singles and stuff like that. And I think part of it is just that my previous skein, I was much better about spinning every day because I was trying to get used to spinning every day for True to Fleece. And it takes a little bit to get back into the groove again. But I'm still enjoying it. I've realized that if I want to move on to the next spinning project, I need to finish this one. And I do have a little bit of a deadline. So on September 1st, the Mustache Girls are hosting a handspun cow. And I would like to participate in it. Which would require that I finish this. And I'd like to thank everyone who ended up giving me suggestions for, well, help. Thanks, Hillary, and thanks, Jordan, for giving some some suggestions for what I should do to knit this up. So they had suggested in total 4 different patterns for shawls, and a few of them and 3 of them I had never heard of before, so that was really neat to be able to look through that. I still need to finish combing through the projects and figuring out if anyone's done it in handspun and seeing how those patterns look done in handspun, and then maybe I'll put up a poll this week and see if voting on patterns might be easier than than soliciting for patterns. I don't know. I'd like to make the podcast more interactive, but I'm not quite sure how to go about doing that, because one of the things about me is that I do what I want, and if I have problems, I figure it out, and so it's strange to be asking for help because I'm very self-reliant when it comes to knitting. So, Gnomespun. Let's see, how much do I have left on the Gnomespun? I ended up pre-drafting this bit out, so that this is what I've been spinning on, the bit that I've been spinning on, and then I have this left. So I still have a decent way to go. I might be halfway now with the second skein, which is fine. Trying to figure out which end I was actually spinning from, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. So, and there might be time to do some more spinning this weekend, or maybe I just need to get back in the habit of spinning every day for a little bit, and that way that muscle memory fingery thing continues on. Okay, so last week was very stressful for me. So I decided that I wanted to have a project done now, which is an interesting problem because the only yarn I brought with me was lace and fingering, and 1 skein of handspun. So I decided to knit a cowl with my handspun, and I got to the end of the yarn, and it wasn't even close to going around my neck. I think the pattern that I was making was actually meant for 200 grams instead of the 120 that I had. So that was a failure. And I started and restopped the cowl several times before realizing that there was no hope or prayer that I was going to finish it. And then I'm like, okay, can't make a cowl, make a hat. And I get to the crown decreases and I run out of yarn again, which I guess it makes sense if the yarn couldn't fit, if the knitted object couldn't fit around my neck, why in the world would it fit over my head? Then I'm like, wait, I have black yarn. This black yarn. This was in Indiana. The skein of black yarn I had in my stash box was actually fingering. So this is Cascade 220 Superwash. This is my second hand spun, which is what is it? Mountain Colors Targy Top, which is like the end of my bulky figuring out how to learn to spin. So what I did was I knit the brim with this 2x2 ribbing. Then I did a pattern, like a linen-y stitch pattern with the black and alternating with the green. And this is the result. So, perfect little beanie. Definitely one that I can only really wear with my hair down. You'll see that I have leftovers with black. I do not have leftovers for the green. So, simple little hat. I don't know if I'll do something crazy with it. For comparison purposes, this hat here, which isn't even the full 4 ounces of fiber, is, this is my third hand spun. This is my second hand spun. Let's just say that there was a tremendous amount of learning that happened between this hat and this hat. So I just want to point that out because like new spinners seem to get fairly demoralized about like, oh, this isn't the yarn I knit and blah, and like, oh my gosh, you're spinning so thin, and be like, takes a while. So this is secondhand spun. So this is 8 ounces. This is at 12 ounces. And then we'll count this as 16. So it takes at least a pound to figure it out. It took me about a pound to go from crazy bulky yarn to something much closer to what I would knit with, which would be this guy, which is Sport DK. And once I finish that, I definitely want to move on to making 3-ply fingering. That is my goal. I want to be able to spin for socks. Which is obviously going to require some time commitment on my part. As in spinning consistently. So, hand spun hat with some Cascade 220. We'll bring it closer to the camera. So, some good texture. And it's definitely very warm. I wasn't sure while I was knitting if I was going to line it with fleece or something to make it super duper warm. But I think I knit this on 10s, which is pretty bulletproof for the yarn that I have, so I think it'll probably be okay. Yep, so the instant gratification project that kept giving. If I had had everything in place, it probably would have been closer to, no, I'd say maybe like a 3-hour knit. Oh, stress knitting. So the next thing is on one of the Ravelry groups that I'm in. They're like, for most groups that I see, there's like a D-stash thread, and this says someone had put something up on D-stash, and I ended up buying it. Because it's actually something new to me. Well, since I am a pretty new spinner still, lots of things are new to me. But I ended up buying a Batt. So this is, oh, I don't remember. Maybe it's Enchanted Knoll Farms. Okay, it's Enchanted Knoll Farms, and it is the Happy Hooves Club. And so this is a Batt, and it is completely different than anything I've ever played with before. So I'm just gently opening it up. Oh my gosh, it's sticking to my knees. So I believe that this is Superwash Merino and Sparkle. I'm very certain about the Sparkle. And I ended up picking it up because it was pretty blues, greens, and purples, and I hadn't realized about the crazy yellow stuff, which is definitely Sparkle. So I've never spun from that before. Well, duh, because there are many things spinning related which I have not done before. But I figured that it would be an interesting sort of adventure, and for the price, so it was 6 ounces of fiber for $20. $20, 6 ounces. I had bought 20 ounces, or not 20 ounces. I had bought 6 ounces for $27 not too long ago. So it was a great deal, and it was a chance to try something different. So it will be fun to play with. And I haven't even pulled out the other ones yet. So, and they're already split into 2-ounce, whatever, clumps. So then this is totally meant to be 3-ply sock yarn. So beautiful. I'm very excited. And of course I'm attracted to the cool colors, so blue owns me. So this will be an exciting adventure. I won't be spinning this next, but it seemed to be something too nice to pass up, so I decided to go for it. And I ended up getting, so to continue on the Stashquisitions segment. So I am a member of the What Just Watchin' podcast group, and Emily had a giveaway for a copy of Ply, because she ended up getting an extra copy because of, or what is it? So she was already a subscriber, and she ended up getting a copy when she went to the Super Summer Knitaway. And then someone else, so someone else had also donated their extra copy. So I was able to, this was in my mailbox when I got back from Indiana, and I had a chance to go through it. So I haven't really, I might have flipped through a copy of Spin Off in a local yarn shop not too long ago. But so I really didn't have much in the way of expectations for what a magazine like this would be like. And I would say my favorite part was this. So this is an article talking about Corriedale, which is something that I have spun before, and different ways. So then they have these swatches. Oh wait, yes. So they have these swatches, and they were spun in different ways, and just showing how. So then there's basically showing how the yarn is changing based on how you decide to spin it. And so this was very interesting to me. I would, because I haven't really thought much about spinning in terms of, okay, so what is the difference between comb top, or what is the difference between locks? And depending on how you spin it, you can get such a different product. So that was probably the neatest piece of information in the book, or book, magazine. I'm not much of a magazine reader, so, and they also have, like, patterns, so they also have knitting patterns, and then, or that are designed specifically for hand spun and other such things. So I don't know if I'm gonna become a subscriber, but it was definitely very interesting to read. They definitely have a sense of humor, so it's nice to know that they take spinning very seriously, but they don't take themselves very seriously, so that is wonderful. So, trying to think if there is anything else that I would like to talk about today. It looks like I still have a lot of knitting left to do on my 2 projects. Maybe by next week I'll have the second third of the second braid done. We'll see. It depends on how much I feel like spinning. It seemed to go pretty well today with just the radio, so. I can't tell you what coffee I'm drinking. I threw out the bag. Oh wait, it's still the Peets. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about that as I was making. So this is pretty much the last of the Peets. I have 2 new coffees, which I'm not sure which I'm going to break into first. So I have a caribou coffee, which apparently my husband snagged for me. And then I have a, oh, what is it? And then I have a blend from Honduras that I ended up picking up at Whole Foods. So it is organic, fair trade. And while there might be very little difference in taste between normal coffee and organic coffee, I choose organic things and am happy to pay the extra money for organic things because I feel that there are hidden costs to the normal way that things are farmed, and by buying organic, I am limiting the environmental impacts and the environmental impacts of farming. So it's not because it's healthier, it's not because it's tastier. It's because it's the right thing to do. So, whatever. I'm very lately into food politics, so as in I am not an activist, I just like to make sure that that I don't know, I vote with my wallet. I think that's the easiest way to explain that. Okay, checking the pile of stuff. 2 works in progress, spinning project, Stashquisitions, finished object. A very small review. So I think that's it. So I will be recording next Saturday, which if I could do math in my head. Okay, today is the 16th, so I'll be recording on the 20th. Oh, silliness. I will be starting a poll when I post this episode in the Deepbluerenegade podcast group. So feel free to go vote. I still need to finish spinning the yarn, so so vote on the shawl pattern that you think will be the prettiest with my hand spun. And I think that's all for now. So take care, guys. Talk to you later.